Hey everyone, just a short review of a crime novel today, Cop Hater by Ed McBain, which is the first novel of the long-running 87th Precinct series. Now, just before I get into the review, viewers might notice that I've got a new phone, so hopefully the video and the audio is slightly better. It should be better. I decided to read this book because over on Criminoli's channel, he's going through the entire 87th Precinct, like one novel per month. And I don't have all of Ed McBain's books. I maybe have probably about 10 of the 87th Precinct. I'll definitely read at least some of them and I'll leave reviews. But I thought I would definitely do this first one, Cop Hater. This book was first published in 1956. I wish I had a nice old vintage copy, but this one will have to do for now. Let's see, when was this published? Yeah, so this edition is from 2003. And it does have a little interesting introduction by McBain as well, kind of looking back on it in retrospect. As the title suggests, the plot line of this is that a policeman is killed, and our main character, Steve Carella, is investigating the murder and also trying to figure out the motivation of the killer. At the start, kind of the leading theory is that this is someone with a grudge against policemen in general. As you go through the book, there's alternate theories. You know, maybe this murder wasn't as random as it seemed. Had the killer previously been arrested by this cop? Or maybe this was a crooked cop? Or maybe something else entirely. Now, this is a short, pulpy read. And a lot of what Ed McBain does really well is interesting characters with kind of fun, punchy dialogue. Part of what I personally liked about this is that there's a lot of dead ends to the investigation. Carella starts to investigate, one particular thing, and he'll go interview people, and then he'll determine that that person's innocent. This is a chance for Ed McBain to write all sorts of interesting characters, right? So we get like a teenage delinquent gang. We get police informants. We get drug addicts. All of that stuff's really good. In the introduction, which I was reading after I read the full book, I went back and I read the introduction by Ed McBain. And in it, he was saying that he wanted to make it so that it wasn't just one character doing the investigation. It wasn't just Steve Carella working out every single thing by himself. He wanted to have the entire police force working out this mystery. That was sort of the concept behind the 87th Precinct. But at the same time, Steve Carella very much is the main character, and you're usually getting things from his point of view. So, for example, if the ballistics people have worked out the gun that the killer used, they'll just be relaying that information to Steve Carella. Now, personally, I'm fine with this, but I could also see how sometimes Steve Carella comes off as maybe a little bit passive, like people are just feeding him information, or he's just kind of stumbling from one scenario to another. I think that's probably more realistic to real life, but I could see how for some people that might be a downside. Another really interesting thing about this book that stood out to me, it's only a couple of paragraphs, but some of it is written in second-person perspective. Most notably, the opening of the book. So it's describing how you are looking at the city. I've been told that one of Ed McBain's real strengths is the descriptions of the city. Now, I have read one other Ed McBain book previously. It was Downtown, which is a much later book, and it's also not 87th Precinct. It's a standalone. So compared to Downtown, Cop Hater is much shorter, much punchier. The mystery is much clearer. And I would say the tone is a lot more consistent. I liked Downtown okay. I thought it was fine, but it seemed to swing between like serious moments and kind of farcical moments a bit too quickly. And honestly, I was a little bit confused as to the motivations of the crime and like who's even in on this, what's their purpose. Whereas Cop Hater, none of those complaints. It was much simpler, straightforward, and I was never lost. So yeah, I would recommend this book, and I'm interested to check out more by McBain in future. This was really good. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.